Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and today we're going to finish off this mini-series. As you might be aware, for the past 2 weeks I have been covering a video going over each of the games in Total War Warhammer and talking about the missing legendary heroes for their specific game races. Well, it's time for Game 3 and there's a number of races here which already have legendary heroes but could do with a few more. There's also the fact that some of them just don't have legendary heroes just yet. We're going to be going over all the races available in Game 3, going into the lore and seeing what could be added in and how. This one was quite difficult to do, mostly because some of the races are completely new and it's very difficult to get into that type of flow, but I do feel like I found some stuff to be able to justify the inclusion of legendary heroes. But before anything, this video is sponsored by Instant Gaming. Gaming can be fairly expensive right now, but with Instant Gaming you can pick up a bunch of titles at a pretty good discounted rate. Why not pick yourself up Nordland for 42% off? Manor-Lords is on a massive discount of 49% off and a lot more titles. This website is compatible with Steam, so you'll be able to have it straight into your account and get yourself some really good deals. If you're interested in Total War Pharaoh but don't want to pay the £40, you can pick it up for £14, so it's much cheaper, which means that you'll be able to get the update soon and not pay full price for a title that you might not be too sure on just yet. Not only that, but we do have a monthly giveaway going on, which is win any game of your choice. You don't have to make a purchase, just sign up and, yeah, wait until the end of the month. We'll be having monthly giveaways, by the way, thanks to our friends at Instant Gaming. So a big thank you once again for the video sponsorship. Now let's return to our regularly scheduled programming. So there are a total of 9 races so far in Total War Warhammer 3. We don't know if we'll get any in the future. One could make an educated guess that the Dogs of War are coming, considering the leaks in the past, but that means that we're going to have to go over 9 possible legendary heroes. So yeah, this is going to be a long one, I think. So we're going to start off with Cafe because a very educated guess could be made here. As you are aware, we do have a watcher known as Seitung, who focuses very heavily on range combat. Well, interestingly enough, Seitung was actually confirmed a long time ago to exist in lore when the Cathayan map started appearing for Warhammer the Old World. This is the tabletop game, the revival of Warhammer Fantasy, which everyone has been waiting for a long time. Well, in this map, which is not great quality by the way, this is just how Games Workshop like to post their images, but right in front of Weijin, so on the top right hand side, there is another construct, a named construct known as Yang Sing. So this could be the complete opposite to Seitung, where Seitung focuses on range, Yang Sing would likely focus on melee. It's not the most interesting thing because we do have named characters that have appeared in terms of flavor text and so on, but it would probably be the easiest thing for CA to get done as the base animation and rig from Seitung and the other watchers would be used here. It'd be great to see a character with 2 hand weapons instead of one of the glaives though, and naturally boost up your melee combat units rather than your ranged ones. There's a lot that could be done with Grand Cafe. We know that there is a army book. We know that there is this whole situation of Games Workshop did write a lot of stuff. We don't know how much DLC is going to come for Grand Cafe. We've already had one. Mind you, it came at one of the worst ones. I could see Yang Sing coming in and then maybe some more stuff. Who knows, maybe the original leaks regarding monkey heroes and so on could be true, and we could see that coming in the future too. But this is the only character that is flat out confirmed by Games Workshop, which I think kinda pushes it a little bit further. Let's go into the Ogre Kingdoms, because they're getting a DLC soon, well, end of this year, and, well, it just kind of makes sense to introduce this character, because he's very much liked, he had a very impressive model. This is Bragg the Gutsman, and he is basically the self-proclaimed executioner of the Ogre Kingdoms. I mean, you kind of get the gist of how he looks, which is one of the cool ogre models. Mind you, a lot of the Ogre Kingdom models were always really cool looking. But yeah, his history is pretty basic. He's an ogre that's very well known to get into melee combat, as most ogres are. But when he broke his scimitar, he decided to make use of the broken pieces and fashion the weapon that you see that he holds. This is the great Gut Gouger. And it is a famous weapon, not only for the other ogres, who are actually quite terrified of him. Other ogres, even those who have fought hundreds if not thousands of battles, stay well enough clear of him, but he has been able to rip open Skaven warlords, orc chieftains, chaos champions. It's something that is apparently in lore quite interesting to see, because it's a bloodlust that most ogres don't even have. Now the ogres fear him too, because he will kill them indiscriminately also, literally ripping them apart and then moving on. But you see, Brag has no tribe. He is a mercenary for hire from other ogres, but no ogres will actually follow him. He's killed tyrants from other tribes, and those ogres will not follow him, which, as you guys know, there is a big thing in ogre lore. If you kill the tyrants, you technically take over, right? It's just that simple. But even the other ogres in tribes where their tyrants have been killed go, yeah, I'm not going to do that, because it's going to be very obvious I could do something wrong and he'll kill me. For this, he does travel around and work with various tribes before just going off to do his next thing. And I feel like this guy would be a great legendary hero because, again, he has no tribe. He is centered to be a hero. It'd be cool to have a melee legendary hero, which is very visually different and obviously with a very cool weapon. I think that this would be a great character. Chaos Dwarfs next, and this character never had a model. I very much doubt that we're going to get another DLC for the Chaos Dwarfs, even though DLC for DLC exists, but it would be nice to get a legendary hero, another legendary hero for the Chaos Dwarfs, because they've only got 3 lords, so another legendary hero would be kind of cool. This is Rykarth the Unbreakable, and he is a character that was actually in the lore for a decent amount of time, I believe 7th edition. So this character is actually a Chaos Dwarf Lord, but I could see him being implemented as an Overseer. His lore is very small. Essentially, he was there when the agreement between Archaon the Everchosen and the Forgers of the Chaos Dwarfs had gotten into that agreement with the creation of Hell Cannons, which is obviously an iconic unit for both the Chaos Dwarfs and the Warriors of Chaos. There's even rumors that Rykarth looked directly and locked eyes with Archaon and didn't even look away, which is an impressive feat. Even some demons have been known to kind of look away sometimes, apparently. So I think that that's a big badass situation there. And he did lead an army during the Nemesis Crown situation, which was the 7th edition campaign. I could see him being implemented as a hero to boost up specific Chaos Dwarf units, so the infantry and so on. Very similar to that of Gorda's, but focusing on Chaos Dwarfs instead. And yeah, I mean, it would be kind of cool. Make him melee focused, don't give him a gun. Just have something different here. So that means that we could get a little bit more variety. More characters for the Chaos Dwarfs would always be great. I mean, in a perfect world, we'd still see some stuff being implemented, like the Chaos Siege Giants. But unless Creative Assembly start doing Scraps DLCs, I very much doubt that we'll get something here for the Chaos Dwarfs. There's literally not that much missing, unless they want to be funny and go into the really old stuff, like the Ass Cannon. Alright, we're going into the Monogods now, and we're going to start off with my favourite, Slaanesh, with the first character being Stirkar. So, this is a character that was introduced, I believe, originally during the Liber Chaotica. It's actually a way back, but was also a playable character during 6th edition Storm of Chaos. As you can see, very cool styling for the Slaanesh warriors. In fact, this model was eventually used as the basis for the Painbringers in Age of Sigmar. This is a Norscan character who was one of the chief lieutenants for Archaon during the Storm of Chaos. He is fairly well known to be an incredible competent fighter, also is the reason why we have the famous mounts known as Boob Snakes. His lore is kind of sad. You see, he was born into a marauder tribe, which he wasn't really built for that, being seen more as weak and spoiled, and because of that he was bullied by the rest of the tribesmen's sons, and at some point even his father. His father resented him. However, Stirkar had a very powerful ace in the hole. You see, a Slaaneshi demon had taken to Stirkar, realizing that there was great potential in this young gentleman, and made sure that the young marauder prince was elevated in position, whispering into his ear to make sure that the kid knew exactly what to say at the perfect time. Because of that, Stirkar became very popular, and started getting stronger. As he aged, more and more demonic voices were heard in his head, until he fell to Slaanesh, killing his father and taking over the tribe, becoming one of the most feared Chaos Warriors in the Norscan hellscape. He's a really cool character because he's got really, really cool armor. I mean, one of the best models. I cannot stop praising this model enough. And it would be great to see this guy implemented because of the banner too. And yeah, boob snakes. This would be the perfect time. We know that we're going to get a Sinesh DLC eventually. Well, you know, at this point, let's hope. We could get him. It means that we'd get a character that would focus up on boosting up the capabilities of your Chaos Warriors for your monogod factions, again giving you more reason to use Chaos Warriors, and also work very well with Azazel and Sigvald. This would also be a Monstrous Cavalry style legendary hero, so very similar to that of Kasich, I'd imagine. You'd probably get a lot faster units with the boob snake mounts though, and like, let's be honest, who doesn't want that, right? If you say you don't, you're lying. I know you are. I've seen your internet history. So Nurgle now, and Nurgle actually has a really good legendary hero. Kasich the Befouled is awesome and makes cavalry-based armies incredibly fun. The problem is that Kasich, unfortunately, is only available to Tamokon. You can get him with other characters. You can get him with Kugath and Epidemius, but you need to confederate, which is a shame because that means that they kind of lack on that too. So why not introduce another legendary hero at some point with Fator the Tainted? Yes, we're going to be talking about another lieutenant from the Storm of Chaos. As you can imagine, the Storm of Chaos is very close to my heart. Fator was born in the Empire as the son of a farmer. When his father passed away, he took over as patriarch of the house, and he wasn't even around 20 years old yet. He was still fairly young. As you can imagine, being a Nurgle character, certain aspects had to kick in before he fell. For example, a plague hit. Surprise, surprise. This was a plague that was ravaging all of the Northern Empire, with one of his siblings being struck by the plague very, very heavily. As you can imagine, at this point, people start turning to religion. Fator and his mother started praying to the gods, any gods that could save her and the children. However, yeah, a god answered, just not the one they wanted. Nurgle came and decided to bless these people. The whole family was afflicted and they were driven out from the village. Treated like monsters more than anything else because, in most cases, the Empire will look towards plagued villagers as a catalyst for infection throughout the whole village. His family were hunted down and they were killed off. Fator survived and managed to make it up north into Norsca, where he joined up with a tribe known as the Wolf Brothers. Originally they let him live out by himself as they expected him to die fairly quickly, but eventually he did surpass the plague, actively taking it into his body and becoming a champion of Nurgle. Eventually also taking this tribe and making them devoted to Nurgle. You're gonna feel bad for the Nurgle champions, actually. The grand majority of Nurgle champions start off as either Imperials or something, and they fall, and it's always a bit of a sad story. But this would be a cool character to add in, because again, melee-focused, have him foot, boost up Chaos Warriors of Nurgle. It's always kind of cool to have. I know some people would have expected a demon, but there is really no demons that I was able to find. It's just a shame that we can't steal a few from Age of Sigmar. But yeah, I think this is a cool character. Cool model, too. Always one of the best ones from the classic Chaos Warrior days of 6th edition, so why the hell not? The more characters the better, right? Tzeentch now, and Tzeentch already has two, but we're keeping this consistent, so let's not forget about this. Let's go in and talk about Sespeth. As a character with a very little amount of lore, mostly because he was introduced once again in the Storm of Chaos, but his father actually had the main bulk of the lore. Well, let's be honest here, Sespeth is the cooler looking one because he's heavily mutated. He's got beaks. You see, Games Workshop? Someone has beaks. But yeah, his father was one of the original lieutenants for Archaon the Everchosen during the Storm of Chaos. He got killed off later in the campaign, and Sespeth took over with one of the more original looks that we've seen for a Chaos Sorcerer for quite some time now. There's not a lot of lore to discuss here, but it would be a sorcerer character that we could see being used here and also with the Tzeentchian factions for the Warriors of Chaos. I think it could fit quite well, so there's not really too much that we can discuss. It's always cool to have some unique stuff. I honestly, if it was up to me, would say no legendary hero and just bring in a legendary lord. We're still kind of owed one, by the way, from Shadows of Change. Don't ever forget that, or else Creative Assembly will just go, oh, well, they forgot. But yeah, you know, instead of this, get Egrim Van Horseman as a legendary lord. But still, it's always good to talk about these just in case we do get more Tzeentch content. It has been kind of confirmed, well, it has been flat out confirmed by Creative Assembly that Tzeentch could still do with some extra loving. For Khorne, we're going to move away from the Storm of Chaos and Archaon's Lieutenants, and we're going to talk about a character who's been here since, oh wow, 4th edition, I think, right? Yeah, more or less 4th edition. So, Sylar and Fingrim. This is a character that we're expecting in the next DLC because it makes a lot of sense. He is a Chaos Spawn. Yes, this is the thing. In some cases, you'll get blessings and become a very powerful warrior. We've seen that with stuff like Archaon, Sigvald, and so on. Sometimes blessings can go badly, where you turn into a Chaos Spawn. And some people might be saying, well, that's a punishment. No, in some cases, spawndom is seen as a blessing, where you completely lose yourself and just become this hulking monstrosity. In Sylar's system, it's more of a monkey, because it's kind of like gorilla styled. But yes, this is a character that we've known for a long, long time. He was in the Greyling tribe, and he was an incredibly famous warrior, to the point that he had been blessed many, many times over, ending up becoming this type of spawn. Now, some people might say that he is kind of looked upon badly and sometimes killed off by the Norskins, but no, he is revered almost like some sort of demigod, to the point that he's actually known as the Talon of Khorne. He is incredibly magical resistant, as you can imagine, and very, very strong in combat. He's had lore changes over the years, where in the end times I believe they actually put him into Scaramore when he's supposed to be a Norscan. But the main thing is, he is super cool, and he shows up in the end times quite a bit too. Melee focus, but then again, this is a Khorne character, so that's what you're going to get, but he should be quite fast, boosting up monsters in your army. I imagine that's going to be his unique skill line, the buff line for the units. I literally cannot imagine any other character as a legendary hero right now. Obviously, there is some stuff that was introduced, like Archaon's Lieutenants and so on, but they'll want to go for something as unique looking as possible, because that will actually make people want to buy the DLC more. As you can see, there is some fairly unique looking stuff for Chaos. A lot of it is mostly warriors because they were just easier to make. But this character is incredibly popular by Games Workshop staff. Like, he's had a number of model redos. He's had like a number of ones in Blood Bowl too. And to be honest, I imagine him appearing in Warhammer the Old World at some point because it just kind of makes sense. He is really well known for it, and he's very much loved by Games Workshop staff. Now, this is where things get difficult for this video, because if we look towards Chaos Undivided, there are no undivided characters. Be'lakor was the only one, in terms of like demons. Now we've got Daniel, which, big whoop. So what I'm thinking here is maybe Creative Assembly can be a little bit creative, roll credits, and say, hey, why don't we make a undivided character which is a Chaos Fury? Something to boost up Chaos Furies, because it's a big unit that you actually use with the Demon Prince, because you've got access to a fair amount of them. Actually, I do think that they don't have access to the undivided ones anymore because silly. But yes, Chaos Furies are actually undivided demons. They can take marks, but they're supposed to be pure chaos. They're very weak, and that's why. So a Chaos Fury hero could be very interesting here, as only allowed for the Demon Prince. Maybe Games Workshop could allow for that. I mean, undivided Demon Princes are a thing now. In Old World, again, they haven't been for a long, long time. So if the law is going to break for that, have something like this just to have something unique for Daniel. Give people reason to play as Daniel. I really don't want to. And finally, for Kislev, the same issue. You see, this is what happens when you end up getting a race redone and then no information drops on them. We don't even know when they're going to happen. Games Workshop have publicly even stated, you know, there are no current plans to get Kislev out anytime soon, which is bullshit. You know, that a lot of people would buy that, but okay. It's just, it's ridiculous. There's rumors as why there's delays for Kislev, and I just don't like it because I want a Kislev army on the tabletop. So we don't know what could happen here. I'd love to see a Patriarch hero come into effect because, you know, we've got the Golden Knights. It would be cool to see a Patriarch hero which would be very strong and focus very heavily on the church. We don't have that much focusing on the church for Kislev at the moment, which is very, very noticeable. And it's a massive shame because, yeah, you know, it got established when the race was revealed. It's like, oh yeah, it's church and state, and we really haven't had much of that, barring the copy-pasted mechanic from Troy. But is hoping something like that comes in game at some point soon. It would be nice to get some more Kislev love. They desperately need a bit of a touch-up too. Let's be very honest there. However, if you guys had better ideas for Kislev and for the Demon Prince, let me know. And pretty much for all the other factions. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. At the end of the day, I'm just going over some really cool stuff in lore, some cool characters and so on. Because I don't want to see this end. I want to see this going on. And there's so much that they can get from it. There's going to be a lot more videos to come, don't you worry. I want to talk about some missing units and some really cool things in Warhammer Fantasy lore. We're going to go back to doing some lore videos very, very soon. Let me know again your thoughts in the comments below. A big thank you once again to Instant Gaming for the sponsorship. Believe me, were it not for them, the channel would be in a little bit of trouble lately, so it is nice to get a little bit of extra income coming in because bills are getting kind of frustrating. New tax year is also pretty fucking brutal, let's put it that way. Too many prices going up, not a lot of prices going down here. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you all again very, very soon. I need to sort out a few videos for this coming week as I am leaving for a few days for something for training, actually. So, yeah, fun times. See ya.